The first time I saw her, she was floating above the neon expanse of Station Kythera's orbital gardens, her silver hair catching the light of 1,000 distant suns. She wasn't running, and she wasn't hiding, but there was a tension about her, a quiet wariness that made her presence almost ethereal. I was repairing a decaying hydroponics array at the edge of the garden, and I couldn't stop looking at her. The aliens on Kythera were tall, elegant, and often intimidating, but she radiated something else, fragility wrapped in strength, and innocence tempered by experience. Her eyes caught mine from across the corridor, and for a moment, the galaxy felt smaller. I don't know why, but I thought she needed help. I thought I could be the one to offer it. The beginning, a chance encounter. "Are you okay?" I asked as she drifted closer, careful not to make sudden movements. My voice sounded strange to me in the quiet of the hydroponics chamber, echoing off glass and steel. She blinked rapidly, as if startled that someone had noticed her. Then she nodded, though the faint quiver in her shoulders told a different story. I think so, she whispered, her voice almost lost in the hum of the station. "I just needed some air." I offered her a seat on a maintenance platform, and she accepted, her movements hesitant, almost wary. She introduced herself as Lyra. She didn't belong to the station's official workforce. She was a traveler moving between sectors, always on the run from someone or something I didn't yet understand. As we talked, I learned that Lyra had been fleeing from the Shadow Guild, an interstellar criminal network that traded in forbidden technologies and slaves. She had stolen information vital to their operations, but she had no desire to fight. All she wanted was safety. Something about her vulnerability struck me. Humanity had trained me to be practical, logical, yet in that moment, I felt an instinctive need to protect her. The middle, tension and trust. Over the next few days, we grew closer. She taught me about her world, the ships she had piloted, the dangers she had survived. I shared my human ingenuity, the tricks I had learned repairing old station systems and salvaging broken technology. We laughed, we argued, we shared moments that neither of us would admit to feeling in public. And then one evening, everything changed. The Shadow Guild had tracked her down. Their drones descended on the station, scanning corridors and airlocks, searching for her with relentless precision. Lyra froze as alarms blared. "I can't," she whispered, panicked. "You can," I said, taking her hand. "We'll get through this together." I had an idea. Using the hydroponics tunnels and my knowledge of the station's maintenance routes, I led her through a maze of back passages, avoiding the drones. Every step was a gamble. Every corridor could be the last she, or I, would see. Finally, we reached an old shuttle bay, abandoned and untouched for decades. I guided her inside and sealed the hatch. For a moment, the silence was overwhelming. "You saved me," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You did it yourself," I replied. "I just followed your lead." Her eyes glistened, and something shifted between us. Not desire, not romance, something deeper. Gratitude, relief, and perhaps the first flicker of trust. The turning point, the words I spoke. We spent the night in the shuttle, plotting a course to a nearby sector where she could remain undetected. She rested while I ran diagnostics on the ship. Watching her sleep, I realized something I hadn't admitted. I found her beautiful. Not just in the way humans use the word lightly, but in the way the galaxy itself seemed to pause whenever she moved. I knelt beside her, hesitating. My hand hovered in the air, unsure whether to touch or simply let my presence be. And then, almost without thinking, I said it. "You're beautiful," I whispered. Her eyes snapped open. She froze, mid-breath, mid-blink. The words hung in the air, heavier than any gravity field we had ever passed. For a moment, she said nothing. Then the tension broke. Tears streamed down her face, not in fear, not in shame, but in a sudden release that seemed to drain decades of stress and grief from her body. She sobbed quietly, hiding her face in her hands, and I felt my own chest tighten. I've never anyone, she stammered. Her voice cracked under the weight of unspoken words. You don't have to explain, I said softly. Just breathe. The escape and conflict. The Shadow Guild was not patient. Their scanners picked up the shuttle's energy signature within hours. Alarms blared, and we were forced to launch prematurely. Lyra piloted the ship with precision, and I managed the navigation systems. The chase was relentless. Drones and interceptors pursued us across the asteroid belts, and every decision could mean life or death. But for the first time, we weren't just fleeing, we were working as a unit. Every glance, every command, every hand on a lever was synchronized. During a particularly tight maneuver around a collapsing asteroid, Lyra gripped my arm. Don't let go, she said. I won't, I replied. It wasn't fear, it was trust. And perhaps something more. The ending. Freedom and understanding. We reached a hidden sector where Lyra could lay low. She prepared to leave the shuttle and continue her journey alone. I should go, she said quietly, not meeting my eyes. I nodded, though my heart protested. I'll make sure you're safe. Always. She turned to me, her eyes red from crying, but a faint smile breaking through. You saved me, yes. But more than that, you saw me. And you didn't flinch. I took a step closer. You don't have to face the galaxy alone. Not anymore. She hesitated, then reached out. Her hand found mine, warm and trembling. I don't know how to thank you. You already have, I said. By being yourself. We stood there for a long moment, two unlikely allies in a galaxy full of danger. And in that silence, something unspoken passed between us. Hope, trust, and the fragile beginnings of something neither of us had dared to imagine before. Finally, she nodded, wiping her tears. Then, let's see where the stars take us. I smiled, and together we launched into the unknown. For the first time in a long while, both of us felt free, not from danger, but from the weight of solitude and fear. And sometimes I realized a single word, spoken honestly, bravely, was enough to change everything.